Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast is Critical Blast.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
Hi, I'm Dean Zachary, host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham, where we go beyond politics, beyond calculation, and beyond the big two. Join us each and every Wednesday. Don't miss out.
Hi, I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Silverline Wednesday Night Wham! Hosted by Scott Wakefield.
Hello and good evening. It is Silverline's Wednesday Night Wham! I'm your host, Scott Wakefield. Consider me a curator of a collection of beautiful brains here tonight. We will be talking about toys inspired by comics, and comics inspired by toys, and all things toy related that we can fit into our show. And when I say I'm the curator here, I am out of my league with this group of folks. We do have somebody else probably still joining us, and we are going to have fun with this. As always, you are encouraged and welcome to comment, question, and it doesn't have to be about the topic. If it's about comic books, if it's about Silverline, if it's about pop culture and movies and all that sort of stuff, feel free to ask questions. We want you guys to be part of the show. That's why you're here. Thank you, of course, for joining us. And our routine, if you've not been watching our shows, we like to introduce ourselves at the beginning, and then we'll reintroduce ourselves at the end. Of course, we are creatives and making our own way in this crazy world, and we love for your support and for you to follow us on the social media, all those different outlets and so forth. How about I start? I won't wrap up like I usually do. My name, as you've heard, is Scott Wakefield, and I am co-creator and co-writer for an upcoming Silverline title called Steam Patriots. It is a Revolutionary War or steampunked Revolutionary War retelling story of the war, and that should be coming out. We've got our fingers crossed that it will be November, and so I'm going to jump over Sid. Sid, I'll give you a second to introduce yourself. Rory, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, like Scott said, I'm Rory Boyle. This is co-creator of Steam Patriots. We're hijacking the American Revolution and making it steampunk and more fun.
If you thought it was fun the first time.
That is what
Just
the Revolutionary War needed.
Yeah, a little pick-me-up. If you thought Ben Franklin was witty and zany before, just wait.
Just you wait.
Was George Washington a hoot for you too? Just wait.
Thank you, Rory. Brent, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name is Brent Larson. I am the creator and writer of Kalis, a Silverline comic. I'm in Orlando.
Oh, yes, thank you.
I'm real glad to be here.
Brent, I'll speak for you. You write a lot of screenplays, right? That's your thing.
Yeah, mostly short screenplays. Actually, this is kind of cool. A couple of films that my team and I have made were just accepted into both the Central Florida Film Festival and the Orlando Film Festival.
Oh, wow.
Nice, congrats.
Congratulations.
Yes, that's
I just followed you on Instagram. You got some good stuff.
Oh, thank you.
That's fantastic.
Yes, and thank you to my other dozen Instagram followers. You guys all rock.
Small but loyal army.
Brent, and thank you for saying where you are geographically. I like that because we're all over the place. I'm in Western New York. Rory, you're down in
Jacksonville,
Florida. We'll stay with Florida. Why don't Tommy go ahead, say hello.
Hey, how's everybody doing? My name is Thomas Florimonte Jr. I've been a comic creator since the early 90s, and I've worked for pretty much everybody, mostly inking, but I have done penciling and coloring and just about everything, writing, all that kind of stuff. Currently, right now for Silverline. Oh, and in the past, I've inked a lot of the Silverline stuff. The original, some of the cat and mouse stuff I worked on back when Malibu was printing it. And I also did the original Demon Tales for Malibu back in the day. It was another Silverline book. But right now I'm inking Trumps, the card based off of the card game kind of thing. It's a sci-fi thing, and you see Sid there is coloring some of that's the alternative cover. One of the covers. There's going to be several covers for the Kickstarters, and she's working on one of the covers right now. And it's fun watching. Yeah.
That's a perk. The folks watching tonight, you guys get to see all the little extras that you maybe
behind the scenes
see until
spoilers
publishing date, and I see it actually in print. So enjoy. Let's see. I got to click around. Tim TK, go ahead.
I am Tim TK. I am the associate editor at Silverline. I help run the website and do the craft blog series where we have different artists and comic creators talk about their process of making comics monthly. Look for people in this chat coming up. St. Michael Landing, I believe, already has a post up, as well as Sid. Sid is one of our earlier posts in the year. I'm also writing the book Wolf Hunter, which is a secret history style World War II spy action thing. Look for that sometime next year.
Very nice. Thank you, sir. And
I'm also in Oregon.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
There you go.
I bring it up every week. And I
Yeah.
Never
I'm in Orlando too, by the way. Oops, forgot. Sorry.
Thank you, Tommy. Let's see. C. Michael Lanning, you're next.
All right. I'm C. Michael Lanning. I'm from near Baton Rouge, Louisiana right now. I am currently working on pencils for the Rejects with their head honcho Roland Mann as a writer. I've had a short story published back in 1999 on a site called Ankh Press, and it's still there. So that just goes to show you how often that's updated. And I had a picture printed in Bob Guillory's farmhand like a year ago. And that's about the extent of my publishing history. So,
but it's poised to just keep going, right?
Sure.
Hey, the Silverline lineup just keeps growing and growing. It's really exciting. So we're going to see lots of stuff from you. And then, new to this wacky Wednesday wham of hooligans and hoodlums. This might be the first and last time Sid joins us. We have no idea. She doesn't know what she's getting into here. or maybe we don't know what we've gotten into. Sid, give us your name, and you go by Sid, but you gotta have to tell us your name and what you got.
Do I have to?
No, you do what you want. Don't let him boss you around. We don't listen to him anymore.
Sorry.
My full name is too long.
Okay.
Whatever name they'll see in the credits.
Right.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm Sid. I am speaking to you from Chile, from the other side of the world. So, well, I can't say much. I'm the colorist for the incoming Kickstarter called Thomas already expected. And well, I really hope you guys support it. It's gonna be really good. And that's it.
Awesome.
It's what you guys are
She is
watching right
doing
now.
an excellent job. I mean, what do you guys
Ah,
see?
thank you.
Maybe she can pop up some pictures. We don't want to give away too much, but you know, everybody's seen pretty much everything of all the pages because I've inked them live.
Yeah.
Wow. So everybody's kind of seen everything. But if you want to throw up any of the other pages, I don't think Roland's not here. He won't say anything. Go ahead.
We do have a strange man named. We have a strange man in the YouTube chat named Roland, who says that Scott needs some more light.
There you go. Put him up.
That interesting mystique look he has.
I'll turn my screen up. Does that
From the
help?
shadows.
Does that
He's
help?
indoors. I mean, that's a huge step in the right
True.
Hey, be happy I have electricity and
He's
running
got
water.
internet.
I know
Your
its internet's working, so
today.
there you go.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody. And before we get started, Silverline is a genre-spanning independent comic book publisher creating the best stories you've ever seen in your entire life and you'll ever see for the rest of your life. That's Silverline. We have one Kickstarter
3,
coming
5.
up, 17 in September 15th. We will be kickstarting. We will be crowdfunding on Kickstarter 2 titles. It's been because we've got so much stuff coming out. We've had to double them up, and which is awesome. So we're calling them double features. Our stories are finished, and so when you back a campaign on Kickstarter, when you back a Silverline campaign, you are really just pre-ordering your comic book. You are telling Kablam how many to print, and it's a complete story. So there's no speculation there. That's our model for how we create our work. And then, of course, with any Kickstarter I keep saying Kickstarter, with any crowdfunding campaign, what's really awesome is you get to be part of that, and you're part of the team by supporting it, and you get the opportunity to get one-of-a-kind extras. So we're still working on those. And I say Roland is burning the midnight oil at both ends. I don't know.
There's a candle involved in there.
Okay.
You put the midnight oil on the candle.
He's putting midnight oil all over.
I thought it was whale oil.
He put the midnight oil all over his body and then lathered. What kind of show is this?
Talk about that. Roland is tirelessly he's toiling.
He is oiling your comics as we speak.
I missed something. What time does the midnight oil happen?
11:45, surprisingly enough.
Roland is creating all those extras. You will have extras. You'll have goodies, one-of-a-kind stuff, original art, signed stuff, and that's the beauty of crowdfunding campaigns and being part of an independent press. We are making cool stories and creating great art, and we have more and more titles coming. So September 15th, mark your calendar. We're going to have Cat and Mouse number 3, and then Trump's number 1, and that's a whopper. It is going to be, we just had a conversation before we started, 48 to 52 pages, but the story will be, Tommy, right, 48 pages with
It's 48 pages of art and some extra stuffs.
Yeah.
And we're jamming on it now. I think we've got 2 more pages that need to be penciled. I think I have to ink 4 more, and I think Sid's almost caught up to me. So how many more have you got to go, Sid? I think you're pretty
think
close to
I'm
catching up.
6.
Yeah, well, you're right on my
Yeah.
tail. I need to get going, so you have stuff
It's like
to
I
work
found
on.
my rhythm. It's just powerful.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning of the project, when it started, I was so overwhelmed. It was taking me like a week to make every page. It's not okay.
Well, I mean, the weird thing
We're
about
going
this
faster.
book, yeah, the weird thing about this book is it's because it's some kind of spacey something. You've or not spacey, but the sci-fi thing. I mean, you're having to make up what everybody looks like, and the colors and all. It's not like here's some dudes
been a lot
walking
of
around the
fun.
street. You can just do that kind of colors. You're
I
having
mean,
to create the universe
for the
with the
people
colors.
watching, don't take it wrong. I still use reference. References are always important. But yeah, I go crazy with it.
Yeah, it's looking beautiful.
And that's so cool. I love because it's like if you think about the beginning of any story, like I mean, you think we talk DC and or Action Comics and all that sort of stuff. You think about the beginning of it. That's so cool to think that somebody had to. And we know who. We have names of the creators, but it started somewhere, and they had to sit down and think, well, what color is this going to be, and what's this person going to wear, or how's this person going to look? I love it, and it's so cool, and Sid and Tommy and everybody else who's working on these, that's you guys are creating this stuff, and it's
what started all this was when I was just starting, and they gave me the sheets with the characters. So I was okay. I'm gonna put some colors down to figure out how it would look like or something, and I'm coloring some of the characters. And I was just focusing on the colors of the main colors of the costumes and the outfits and the hair. And I didn't color the skin because I wasn't sure how would that be. So I presented that to Roland, and it's like, okay, so this is how a test. I'm not putting color the skin. You guys let me know. And he was like, I love this. I want all of them to look like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go all out with it, and
That's
instead
awesome.
of putting like purple skies and the weirdest stuff, blue plants, and I'm taking out these Thundercats He-Man references because they go crazy with their rainbows. So much fun. It looks so 80s.
I love and right now, if I'm not mistaken, that's the banner right now. Is that what you call it on Facebook? Is that the banner or the?
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's like it's one of the first
Right there.
pages.
That's
You see
the
the
color.
army.
It's amazing art. I love it. I'm blown away by the
So great,
art right now. So it's really cool. So that is coming up. That's 13 days away. So everybody mark your calendars. Our topic tonight is the official topic is toys inspired by comics. But if you've ever watched a Wednesday Wham, you know how we go all over the place.
Yeah, it doesn't stick to that very well.
So we're going to talk about toys inspired by comics, and then go from there. There are comics inspired by toys, and as always, I ask the guys. I love when we come up with best and worst, cleverest and stupidest, and what were people thinking? And then we, of course, we're gonna tell each other how wrong we think the other person is, and argue about that. And it's a good thing some of us live very far away, because I know it would come to blows. So
I know where you live.
Prove it.
So who's got a burning desire to get us started? I've talked plenty. I'm going to take a break here.
I think. Well, let me get one more join in. He may be the burningest of the group.
Is John here?
He's here.
Oh,
The
okay.
Burning Man.
Be ready. Be ready. Steel yourselves. Be prepared.
Hot flame wheel boy.
He's coming. I'll let him introduce himself when he's in and settled. I think he had a not so great day, or a mix of good and bad. John Medic III. It is great to see you. Welcome. We've just
hello, my friends.
What's that?
I said greetings and salutations, my friends.
We have not besmirched your name. We've only had good things to say about you.
So all eyes. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes.
No. Why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself? Everybody else we've done the routine. We've introduced, we pitched Silverline and told them about upcoming titles. And so go ahead and tell everybody who you are and what you're doing.
All right. Hey, everybody. I have not changed my name yet on Zoom. So as you can see, that's got a .edu address. So in real life, I'm an educator. During the day, that's what pays for my mortgage and supports my love for comics and comic book creation. I'm the creator, writer, editor, former publisher, currently publishing through Silverline, Pre-Press, and something else guy for Sniper and Rook, and a couple other comics through Beta 3 Comics / Beta 3 Studios. In real life, I'm an educator. I apologize for being late. Late day at school with everybody back in college now and the whole COVIDia thing going on. And I'm really ashamed of the fact I'm actually wearing like a dress shirt and a tie to a comic book event. So, you know,
Class level, you brought
Making us look bad.
I see Brent giving me like the. Yeah,
My
I love it,
torn,
man. I love it.
fine outfit, I feel gross.
You know, it's
You look
okay. We're
good.
gonna get through this.
You look good.
Thank you.
So,
That's
hey,
why I got into art, man, to break free of the necktie.
You know what? I actually don't mind the necktie as much as I do like the dress pants.
Oh,
With
yeah.
the dress shirts, I'm really fussy about like how they tuck in. So you know, I'll tuck, make sure it's right, and then with the tie, it makes the front of the shirt lay properly.
Mhm.
So if I'm wearing like a dress shirt, I actually won't wear one without a tie. So
There you go.
I make sure there's a little bit of room. However, COVID's made me thicker in some areas. You know, again, I'm an educator in real life. I just play a comic book guy on TV. And I always make the, you know, everybody's always heard when kids go away to college, they get the freshman 15. Well, since
got the
I've been
COVID-19.
home from working in college, I got the COVID 30. So you know, it is what it is.
So if anybody that served in the military, Rory, my good friend there, my good Coast Guard buddy, shirt stays.
Ooh,
Mhm.
yes.
They don't want
Yeah,
they clip to the
swear
bottom
by
of your
'em.
shirt, go down to your sock. They do a great thing of keeping everything just like, but
Very.
you're you're living in constant fear of it coming undone from the sock, and like upward with the force. And I mean, you look good.
You're talking about suspenders? Is that what you're talking
about?
It's like suspenders for the lower half of your body.
Yeah, for just for the shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may need some of those.
And goes
That's
down
interesting.
and it keeps your socks up and your shirt down, especially when you go out. You need that like starched like military.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They do work.
If they come off the sock, yeah, it's a little scary. So
Hey, Tommy, I think they have them for civilians. You just have to get on Amazon and type in.
I'm gonna go do that right now. I'll be back in a second.
folks, riveting conversation tonight: shirt stays and socks and neckties. And that's a wrap.
All right, we'll see you later.
I can do that.
You know, we could do one night about comic book related neckties. I've had some wonderful students over my 24 years of teaching and administration hook me up with like presents. I got everything from Yoda to Spider-Man to a whole bunch. I won't even go down the whole list. So there's some cool ties out there.
Oh, Cassisi, I'm not sure what academy he's talking about, but Cassisi in chat says that they wore short stays every day in the academy.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's Annapolis or West Point, but
which academy goes? Yeah, thanks for your service there.
see, that's
awesome.
that's why I was a contractor. Is either Kevlar or Gore-Tex or Under Armour. I didn't have to deal with any of that.
You sort of sweat every day, all day.
Yeah. Yep. So John, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Get us started. Get us rolling. You've been the one that's been just crazy about this topic, which is awesome. We love your energy. And
with everything going on, I did not get a chance to make the PowerPoint that I had planned to because I really,
Do you need about 5 minutes before we?
Oh no, I would have
We've
needed like all
seen
weekend. for
that
this.
PowerPoint. Nicolas Cage is bad. We get it.
So okay, so I know like part of the talk tonight will be different toy lines. Well, of course we want to have like a major tie-in with the comic book stuff. I'm gonna have to launch our conversation with what I'd say was probably the most influential, pivotal toy line that had the comic book tie-in, the Mego action figures.
Oh, back in the day.
Back in the day, 1970. So if you keep in mind, like your Spider-Man 1962, Spidey came out. Spidey was in there. But it was subtitled "The World's Greatest Heroes" line of action figures. And it was not just Marvel, but also DC. So you had figures approximately 8 inches tall, a little smaller than a Barbie. They had plastic heads that are rubbery plastic heads popped into the plastic body. They would have clothes, usually with a single snap on the back. I had tons of those when I was a kid. Everything from
Grip.
Spider-Man. What's that?
The Grip. The Kung Fu grips. Some of them had.
No, that was G.I. Joe. So it was G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip and the Eagle Eye Joe. We'll get to G.I. Joe later on.
Okay.
And I actually stopped at Target tonight, and I got some G.I. Joes that I could show you on that today, because there's a new series of those that just came out this summer. And that, of course, is comic book tie-in too. But no, the Migos, they all had actually cloth clothing, plastic boots, plastic gloves. So Spider-Man, Captain America, Supergirl, Batgirl. I don't remember a Wonder Woman. I remember my dad having to take me to a Toys R Us way out in BFE to track down a Joker. There was
I've been there.
Penguin. What's that?
Yeah, that's where I got my toys too.
Okay, so it was independent from the company. It was just the characters all together from the entire comic book industry.
Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
So Migo.
I'm gonna be the newbie asking the questions.
Oh no, that's a great question, and actually, I could even use a current day analogy for this. Basically, Migo got the licenses from the different places, and they produced them, much like the Pops. You know, the Funko Pops that are out today, where you have everything from GI Joe to Frozen to American presidents and
the Disney, McDonald's, everybody.
Yeah. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I saw her at Target today. I mean, so there's like every
shopping.
Yeah, she was at the checkout counter when I was buying my GI Joes. So, and I stopped there for headache pills. I told everybody that I didn't get a chance to eat lunch, so I got like a massive headache. Stopped on a McChicken on the way home. I've got a couple of pies that might try to sneak while I'm at it on the call. But no. So Migo, yes, absolutely. They got different licenses from the different companies. They were amazingly cool. The original ones were in boxes.
I have some up on screen.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. And then later on, they were on cardboard backers with bubbles, kind of like what we know today for G.I. Joe, Star Wars, etc. But obviously,
Star Trek figures too, didn't they?
Yes, I was going to go there. Because I have a
nice.
personal story on that one. Yeah, so going to the licensing, and thank you for the lead-in on licensing, because I was going to go there. And thank you for Star Trek lead-in. My favorite Christmas memory ever. As a kid, I was born in 73, watching Star Trek in reruns, loved it. Migo not only had Star Trek figures, they also had a really cool Enterprise playset. Tim, if you could find that, Google search Migo, MEGO Enterprise. So it folded out. On the side, you actually had like a transporter thing where you put the figure in, you hit it, it turns, it brings it to the back end, so it looks like the figures disappeared. Transported out. Really stuff for like the 70s. The stuff was great. So anyway, my favorite Christmas memory was waking up and all of the Migo Star Trek figures were arranged around the base of the Christmas tree. They weren't wrapped, but they were just there on display. And as a little kid, that was like the greatest Christmas ever. So
awesome.
Definitely Migo is where we would have to start any major conversation about superhero and comic related action figures. That's where I would say we have to talk about it. Later on, fast forward a bunch of years after Star Wars, which of course had a comic, so we can talk about that too. They did put out another line called Pocket Superheroes, and that again was a mix of different companies. Batman, Superman figures, Lex Luthor, if I recall correctly. There was a Spider-Man. I remember playing with Spidey in my bedroom one day, and he was climbing up on the lamp on my dresser, and he was like on top of the bulb, and doing the Spider-Man thing. And I completely forgot I left him up there. And so at night, I turned my light on, and and keep in mind, I'm a kid, right? I'm like smelling. I'm like, what?
Oh no!
Well, poor Spidey's chest, because that's what's pressing on there, melted. I'm like, thank God I didn't burn down my parents' house.
That was the first Venom, I think, right?
There you go.
It turned black.
So yeah, due to the popularity of the Star Wars figures, they did put out that line, the world's greatest superheroes. That one was a 3.75 inch as well, which would have been compatible with the Star Wars figure size. Some of those are very pricey. Some of them are kind of hard to find. I know there's also a Hulk. There was a Green Goblin, Batman, Robin, Superman, bunch of others. I can Google, but that's kind of where I'd say that we would start a conversation to that.
Now, not to divert too far, but wasn't the original Star Wars line offered to Mego first, and they passed on it, and that's why Kenner got it?
I believe there's some truth to that. I did hear that like several places passed on it. Now I'm going to have to take some knowledge back away from comics for a second, but it's still pop culture in reference. So Mego, as we're talking about licenses, they also had the license for Battle of the Planets. Not Battle of the Planets, sorry, my favorite cartoon. Planet of the Apes. It's a planet.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So they actually had not just the figures from Planet of the Apes, but they also had like this huge play set, and it was all vinyl that was covering cardboard. So it's not like the thick plastic stuff that we would have today or in the 80s back in the day when we were kids. But they actually had like this cool looking vinyl, almost Ewok village looking thing. So with that, where was I going with this? What was the question?
If Mego
oh, about Mego and Star Wars. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
So up until Star Wars. So Star Wars is that pivotal point in toys where movies and toys and tie-ins really happened. Up till then, you know, you may have some figures. Like again, we had those Megos, but those were comic books, and then we did have the Megos that were from Planet of the Apes, but it wasn't a robust line. And so there were multiple places that did pass on Star Wars. And I believe you're absolutely right that Mego was one of them. Little known fact on this one, well, maybe not to the folks in the geek realm like the rest of us, but anybody who's watching that's not like necessarily geek like us might not know this. That's where Lucas made his money. So when George Lucas was shopping it around, everybody's like, okay, so you got this weird sci-fi thing. Yeah, I remember the Battle. I'm going to say Battle of the Planets again. Oh my God, Buck Rogers. You know, like not the TV show, but like the movies. You know, it wasn't like a big thing, and so they kind of like offered him X amount of money, and he's like, well, how about I take algebra people? How about I take 1/2 X plus the merchandising? And they're like, what a fool. Okay, yeah, what merchandising? Because merchandising was not a thing. So he held on to the merchandising. That's where he made his money. Not the film, not necessarily the theatrical release, the merchandising, which brings all that much more to any of you who have ever seen Spaceballs. All right. Mel Brooks as yogurt, you know, merchandising, because that's what it was about.
Yeah. Because I remember when growing up, the movies would still come out, like it would be so many years, but you would still see everything about it on stores and stuff. When I was a little kid, the first from the prequels wouldn't come out yet, and Star Wars was still being a thing. It's just merchandising. The guy really knew what to do. Bastard. Yeah, that's awesome. That explains a lot.
Yeah, there's so many cool stories, and along with the Star Wars thing, not only did the tie-ins, the merchandising, the marketing, that, like I said, wasn't a thing until Star Wars. I consider myself, if you ask anybody that knows me, what's your religion? I'm like, it's the Force, you know. Look at my name, I changed it tonight to Palpatine 2.0. You know, so to me, you know, it's all about Force, it's all about the balance. That's like really where my belief system comes in. Well, what it was back then, it was no big deal. You didn't really have huge toy lines, so places passed on it. Lucas took a chance on it. That was all good. But May 25th, 1977 is the holiest of all holidays on any calendar, because that was the original release date of the original Star Wars movie. So, yep, May 25th, 1977. I was a wee little 4-year-old. My dad and I went to see it for multiple weeks. Every week. It was great. My kid heard stories about that for years. And then when the new ones came out, you know, with Rey and Kylo, my son, he's like, his whole life, I hate Star Wars. I'm like, you're adopted. You know, they switched you at birth. You can't be mine. And so, we're in Target one day. He sees a Kylo Ren saber before the movie comes out, and he's playing with it. I'm like, maybe I didn't fail after all. And then having heard the stories of my parents, my dad taking me every week to Star Wars. He's like, I want to go see it every week. I'm like, okay. 20 weeks in a row, my son, Little John, and I, every week, The Force Awakens, 22 weeks in a row. We were traveling like an hour plus to get to Bloomingdale, Illinois, because that was the last place in Illinois that was playing it. 22 weeks. Rogue One, 19 weeks. Force Awakens, or not Force Awakens, Last Jedi, 19 weeks. Solo sucked. So it won. And, but then my mom was sick this last time around when the new one came out, so we only got there once or twice, unfortunately. Mom's still with us, which is cool. Dad passed away a couple years ago. Hopefully my mom's not watching this because she doesn't like me giving out family information, but, Google. One of the best pictures I have in my collection, Dad had not been in a theater in 30 years, and the Bloomingdale Theater that I mentioned is close to Mom and Dad's house, and so my son and I invited my dad to come with, and I got a picture of my son sitting in the theater with my dad for Star Wars. So it was so cool for that next generation. But anyway, so getting back to May 25th, 1977. Nobody expected Star Wars to be a big deal. Nobody expected toys to be a big deal. The toys did not come out until 1978. Mm-hmm. So as it was mentioned earlier, you had brought up about like the prequels and the prequel figures that had come out. Those came out pre-movie. It hypes the movie. Nobody expected Star Wars to be a big deal. Nobody expected toys to be a big deal. They pulled this off for Christmas 1977, where they put out something called the Early Bird package. And the Early Bird package was nothing more than a thing of cardboard that you could fold and put your figures on it when you finally get them with little pegs underneath. You filled out the form, mailed it in, and when those figures were finally produced, they would send you the first 4. It was a Luke, it was a Leia, it was a Chewie, and an R2. And it was a rare Luke with a telescoping lightsaber. So instead of like the saber with the little part that stuck up, there was like an intermediate part too.
It was 2 parts.
Actually, the telescoping actually had a little third part in there too. So very rare, very expensive. Those figures didn't actually make it into people's hands until the following spring, almost a year after the movie hit the theater. And last thing I'll throw on here, and then I'll give somebody else a word in that quiz. I'm so sorry. Back then, movies also had a tendency to last in theaters longer than they do today. I still want to see the new Bill and Ted. It came out on 28th, and I couldn't find it near me today. Yesterday. I'm like, are you serious? I'm gonna go see it tomorrow.
You can rent it on Google Video. We have a home theater set up.
That's awesome.
It was great.
I can't wait. It's going to be most excellent. Yes. But there is a very
no, that's the wrong group.
No, different guys. But you'll also want to Google this because this is my favorite Star Wars poster of all time. I had a repro of it in my office at my last school that I worked at. It was sent out to the 200 theaters that were still showing Star Wars a year after its release. Came out in 77. 200 theaters across our great nation were still showing that movie a year later. And it basically says, happy birthday, 1 year old today. And it's a cake that says Star Wars on it. And it's surrounded by most of the original 12 figures. Tim, if you could find that, Star Wars birthday poster, you should be able to pull it up and show everybody. It's awesome. It is really, really awesome. And it's also very expensive. They were all folded. So the original ones are folded. If anybody ever tries to sell you one that's mint and rolled, bootleg, repro, not legit. They were all folded, put in envelopes, mailed up to the theaters because nobody collected that stuff back then.
Okay, there it is.
So you're trying to say you know something about this, right, John?
This is my jam. Yeah. Everything that made me very unpopular in college makes me and in high school and in junior high is making me the perfect fit for tonight's session. So.
John, what you didn't mention?
There's a reason I never got a kiss from a girl till I was 19. I mean, And then I'm like, you want to see my Cobra Battle Android Trooper? No.
No, I thought you were going to say, and it cost you $20. Is that...
Payback now.
God.
John, George Lucas was also squirrely about actually showing Kenner the design. So they were making like little, well, we think they look like this and they look like this to just to get something started, because he didn't want people ripping it off and making knockoffs and revealing parts of the movie as well. So Kenner was in the dark till the very last minute.
If you do a search on this, Fisher Price had a line of toys out called the Fisher Price Adventure People, which were like 3.75 inch figures too. Some of the original promo Star Wars figures that they used as prototypes at Kenner. Kenner did these as prototypes. Were modified Fisher Price Fisher Price people.
Fisher Price.
So it was kind of cool that Kenner actually used a competitor and basically kit bashed them to make their own figures.
Okay, John, you can take a breath.
Can I have part of my strawberry and cream?
Go for it. Finish your dinner.
You earned it.
And I will put it on mute so nobody hears the.
But we do have the first ever Silverline
The rest
mukbang.
of the stream is gonna be you looking into the camera, eating that pie.
Yeah, it's the first ever Silverline mukbang. Yeah.
So Tim, what were you able to find photo wise? Did you find?
I found it. I had it pulled up in the stream. I had the 1 year as well as the 40 year they did not too long ago.
Yeah.
Isn't
that pretty cool?
40 years?
No.
Joking.
That would have been 97. No, 97. 77 to it would be 2007. No,
it'd be 17.
I don't know. This is math. It's Monday part 3. I'm not good on math on Monday part 3.
You work at a school, so you don't have to learn stuff,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, who's next? Who's got a toy they want to talk about that it was inspired by a comic book or inspired a comic book or has some sort of comic book connection?
I can follow directly off John here. Because there is a age-old tradition. These aren't the original ones, but there's also the Star Wars Gold series, which I have been given a couple of recently.
Oh, wow.
So of course those I keep boxed, but and then I have a like John, Star Wars is part of my religion. So
this is the way.
Yeah. So much that I've permanently marked myself.
Oh, yeah.
But so every year for a while now, I've gotten some sort of Star Wars gift as a toy, and already comic books and media is a communal experience, just the way it works out, and that it's something that multiple people engage with, so multiple people can then share that fascination or interest. But having that toy is like a physical representation of that, keep that in your house. So I feel like that's why the toy collection scenes, especially in comics and for Star Wars, has blown up as much, because it's people who have taken that community to the next level. So you're saying like, oh, you have that in your house too? I have that in my house. Where do you keep it? Oh, it's also under your pillow. Great.
Not letting the sun greet you.
Yeah. So I feel like toys have a really special place for a lot of people. What's really funny is I learned that I am only good with claw machines after several beers in me, and that is the only time I've ever gotten a toy from a claw machine, and this is more comic-based, and that is a spacesuit cable.
Wow.
Yeah. So speaking of communal experiences, being tipsy in an arcade is one.
Tim, was that the one from 1992, the X-Force line by Toy Biz?
I believe so. I'm not entirely sure because I got it from I got it from a machine, so there wasn't any boxed or cross reference, but that's what it looks like. But that's what I got. Going on for me. I have a shelf full of Funko Pops, which it'd be interesting to hear some like the old guard what their thoughts on Funko is, because I hear that some of the old guard comics aren't the biggest fans of them, which I think is interesting.
I love them.
I love them as well. Yeah. So
I've got.
I like the ones that are not supposed to look like people, but like the beastie ones.
Oh yeah. There you go.
I've got
I love them, but I wouldn't call them.
More than
about
once a
60 of them.
Very tempted to get one.
I mean, but about as much toys as like some collectors' toys are in that you don't actually touch them, you just put them up somewhere and look at them. Yeah. But
I don't know, man, because
No, I always
I
like to
have my
take 'em out.
Soundwave, and once like 3 or 4 times a year, I need to take him out of the box, transform Soundwave into the cassette player, and then back.
That's awesome.
I have to do it.
Just have to, yes.
Yeah, and then goes back into the attic.
That's awesome. But I have a whole collection of Star Wars and World of Warcraft ones. But what is perhaps the most expensive line of toys for adults? I would go out and grab a box, but that'd be too much shuffling. Is I have several crates now of Warhammer 40,000 minis, which you use to play the tabletop game Warhammer 40,000. They're incredibly expensive for how small they are and how easily they are to be destroyed. So that's my collection there. Yes.
Hey Tim, I stepped away when you were talking about pops. So we are in my dining room, my palatial dining room.
Right, you just have your children look at San what to eat.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, lately, yeah. Because it's just too much of an effort to take it down for the week. So I'm like, whatever. And behind me, when I do like my Zoom calls here, that's a giant window behind, and so the light coming through illuminates the back of me. So I look like I'm one of those like news characters where like they're obscuring my identity for my own protection. You know, it's like, oh, here we have the whistleblower. You know, but so we've got a bunch of pops in here, so I'll show a couple here because I think they're awesome. So we've got Robin as Red X,
nice.
Teen Titans. All right, we got Nightwing. What else do we have here? We got Red Wing Nightwing. Ooh. All right. Let's see. Okay, apparently I got. I'm leaving this last one.
You're still not earning a woo from me.
Apparently I got like a whole Robin thing going on. The Carrie Kelly Robin, my personal favorite. You know, Batman, Dark Knight.
She's awesome.
And hey, Tommy, you there, my friend?
Sir. Oh yeah.
Because I know you and I are old enough to remember the good old days of this in the comic going, what the hell is this? But we were young enough to think it was cool. Spider-Man in the Spider-Mobile when he had his little buggy.
Sometimes he just didn't want a web sling and he needed a vehicle. I mean, golly, you get tired doing that. You got to get a car.
There's a lot.
Reminds me of a joke I saw lately. Oh, sorry. It reminds me of a joke I saw lately. Talking about how obviously Wonder Woman was the one that was. Oh, sorry. One more I put over here. I forgot. Moon Knight.
Oh yeah.
Really is Batman.
Now you got my woo.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you. Which is Batman's answer, or Marvel's answer to Batman. So I guess you could hang out with the Robins.
It's Marvel's answer to Batman. They didn't know what to do with him, and then they essentially just relaunched him. Like, what if we just made him just super insane and powerful enough to battle gods? Yeah, sure, whatever.
So cool.
He's so cool.
The 70s.
Yeah, he was. Oh shucks, what was it saying? I derailed my little train of thought again.
Something about Wonder Woman?
Vehicle.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. The meme I saw lately was, from the Justice League cartoon, Wonder Woman was the one that was in charge, because if you take a look, when they're flying in her invisible jet, not only does she have the people who could fly sitting in the jet, they have to have their seatbelts on. So, piloting, and it's like, yeah, Clark, you sit your ass down and you put your seatbelt on. I don't care if you're impervious. I'm in charge. Yeah. So we know who runs Justice League.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like a parody of the characters saying, "Hey, I want McDonald's on Wonder Woman." They're like, "There's food in the house." I'd like to see that.
I'll see if I can find it. I'll throw it in our chat later on if I do.
We got some updates from Cassisi. He confirmed he went to the Naval Academy at Annapolis. So
cool.
Another squid. He also used to manage the Funko warehouse in Everett. So that's super cool.
Oh, so he's probably got some special ones there.
Yeah, and Roland said that he liked the original Moon Knight run, which I did as well. But it's the same thing with what's his name? I think it's Damien, something like that. There's a wrestler who was good, but they just didn't know what to do with in terms of marketing or where to put him. So they're like, we'll come back to this later.
So you talk about vehicles. You mentioned the Spidey Mobile, and that's always been one of my things about I know it's marketing. I know it's money. It's merchandising. But it always kills me. You say Superman hopping in a jet. Iron Man. Why does Iron Man need a car? Why does he put his Iron Man suit on and then get in the Iron Man car? Like, I can fly there.
I mean, it's cool. Look at say battery. There you go. That's right.
I think
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know, just think it's the same reason for people who collect motorcycles. That you already have one, but it's just
Yeah.
There's nothing to compare to be behind the steer wheel, you know. Like even with this, and also having a suit. That's so freaking amazing.
And Scott, what I think it is that Tony Stark probably got a letter of warning from State Farm that his odometer on the Iron Man armor was too high, and the fact that it was also a lease, not an own. He was worried about that 25 cents to $1 per mile overage during the lease, and so therefore he had to find alternate modes of transportation.
Exactly.
My favorite thing about
bureaucracy, of course.
my favorite thing about Heroes and Vehicles is when they break the motivation of the character, not just like the practicality, but the Batmobile where he turns it into the Bat Tank. It's like, I don't kill anyone, but I have this equipped with a 50 caliber and 2 railless grenade launchers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! You know the Batmobile from the Arkham Knights?
Yeah.
That thing that tases people to death. I love that thing. That thing is dead.
It's like it's amazing, but it's also like he doesn't kill anyone unless it's behind the wheel.
Hey,
well, that was the tank. It wasn't him. That was the mobile, not him.
Yes.
Then you've never seen the Batman where he snapped somebody's neck using the Batcopter or whatever.
Right.
The Batwing.
But Tim, the whole tank idea, the Batmobile tank.
Yeah.
Going back to Batman: Dark Knight Returns, the comic book series, the 4-issue for Frank Miller. There is a scene where he is in a tank and mowing people down, but in the wording they do specifically call out rubber bullets. So they let everybody know that they weren't
Wonder Woman,
like with hollow points or anything. Rubber bullets, but yeah, there was the tank in there. Issue 3, I think it's when he was fighting the mutants and their leader. So
That's hilarious. By a tank, still die. What the hell?
Well,
I mean, really,
I'll throw one more
Well,
thing in, and then I'm going to stop.
That whole Batman not kill anybody had to start after like 91, because you look at he even told the Joker in the movie, "I'm gonna."
Oh.
No.
Oh no!
Oh, Batman just shut him down.
Somebody's got to pay the bill.
He was about to release secrets, and Bruce Wayne just redacted it.
Has been
This is
silenced.
not good.
Was killing too much.
Maybe.
So let me throw this one in, going back to an older one that I'll shut up because I got to finish the rest of the pie, I promise. I'll try to put myself in timeout for 5 minutes. That ain't going to happen. Mego Spider-Man, the Mego figures we were talking about at the beginning, there was a Spider-Mobile for the Migos, so even some of the bigger figures did have it, and on the back, it had a web that you could launch, press a button, and it shoots. So talking about like things that are not in line with the character, because when you have your web shooters here, but when you can press a button and have your car throw a web for you, why not?
He's holding his cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Driving.
Think about it. Why do cars have power windows?
Sometimes he has a cramp or something on his wrist.
Why do cars have power windows?
Yeah. I mean, you can crank it very easily, right? But why?
Oh,
when you can hit
I think my little sister was watching the cartoon, one of the latest cartoons, and he guessed the mobile thing. And everybody's like, why do you have it? It's like, dude, I can drive on buildings. And it's just crazy. I think that was funny.
But I mean, in like Superman in a plane and in vehicles, yeah, okay. They could go under their own power, just like I can go under my own power to the mailbox.
Right.
Or I could not. So,
But what about like Superman in a spacesuit? You've seen?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, think about it. If
Hold his breath.
was to fly through outer space, what would he be doing out there? He would be alone with his thoughts, which could be after a while. But if he had a suit, he could have a nice little.
Oh, he could have like is the radio going that kind of
Right.
cassette.
I was thinking about that, some music.
Download some.
With its own, like,
You read on the trip. I mean, why would he ever want to go under his own power?
You're right. What? I found this. Sorry, this is perfect. Superman not wanting to use his own legs in let's see, 1987, they came up with. I'm trying to see who made it. It's called the Justice Jogger.
Huh?
And it's
you keep making this stuff up. Every week
Yeah.
you come up with some kind of stuff that you keep making up.
Oh my!
Very esoteric.
Okay, it's up on the
Justice
stream on
Jog.
Facebook or wherever. But
Overland Villain Chaser with power stepping action.
it's a chicken.
It's got legs in it. It's whatever. I can fly at the speed of light, but I'll take the chair.
Is that just another effort to try to get nerds to exercise more?
This is the opposite of exercising. He's
You know
just like
what?
a lazy
You're
boy on
Superman.
legs.
Exercise even when you shouldn't.
Right.
I can see a message.
It's-
I can see something happening.
It has like a hang down window that just covers like the top of his head.
The Justice Jogger. I love it. I want one of those. I'm not Superman. I need it.
So going back to the X-Men, because I clearly have no love for them at all. But
So you weren't rushing to see the New Mutants this last weekend?
I have not yet. I'm contemplating when and where I'll see it. But I am actually a fairly decent sized fan of the New Mutants, so I'm figuring that out.
As am I.
Yeah.
Especially the Liefeld run.
See, yeah, and that's I was actually thinking about putting together like so the epitome of cosplay, cheapness and laziness is when you can get a cosplay that works at both at a convention level and for Halloween. And the Avengers and X-Men are both there now because people recognize it. I was hoping that Cannonball would be there after this, but no one has been able to see the mutants, so yeah.
And they're not costumed up either, from what I
Yeah,
hear.
no. But speaking of a New Mutant as well, so one of the toys that I always wanted to get was the X-Jet, which is they had a couple of them out, and this was the one? No, this is the one that I had to go over to my friend's house to play with all the time. The classic X-Men Blackbird jet from what was that? Toy Biz? Yes.
Yep.
So same line. Yep. So one of my favorite things about the X-Men is once they got in Cloak and Dagger and Magic, very powerful teleporters, and then you just see them strapped into the X-Jet, and like, no, we're flying. When we've already established transdimensional teleportation between planes, between planets, it's fine. We're gonna fly there.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. We need an airport too because of how big it is.
They need to support the economy by using gas and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Could I jump on yours for a second? Because
Sure.
I had just wrote down notes about other things I wanted to make sure I talked about.
Yeah.
And you dropped the words I needed here because this is so important. Toy Biz.
Oh, yeah,
Toy
yeah.
Biz Comics. I don't know if everybody realizes how big a deal Toy Biz not was just because of toys and your awesome looking cable and that awesome looking jet that I never had. Toy Biz really kind of hit it with the action figures, with the Batman movie, you know, the one with, the good one, Michael Keaton. So, and I had a good talk about this with my buddy Mikey Bebinski the other week. He was an inker on Spider-Man and a ton of other things. Amazing inker, great guy. And you know, this Batman line was bizarre. They put out Batman, so you had Batman in the black outfit. You had the Joker, and you didn't have a Vicky Vale, didn't have an Alexander Knox, you didn't have the cop. You had Bob the Goon.
Yep.
With kicking action. So it's like, Bob the Goon, are you kidding me? So after the Batman line,
And the sick hat.
then they also had a DC Heroes line. So Superman, Robin. This kind of ties back to one that we probably should talk about later, the DC Superpowers collection. But that was in the 80s, so we'll come back to that later on. But then Toy Biz also got the licensing for the Marvel toys, so much like Mego that we talked about earlier. Now you've got a company that's getting licenses for different companies. They put out your X-Force line, your X-Men line, your Spider-Man line. If anybody remembers, Marvel screwed up the industry in the 90s. They left Diamond and Capital distributors. They bought Heroes World, tried to do their own distributing. Everything went to heck in a handbasket.
Whoa, language.
And they went bankrupt. So Marvel had been purchased by Toy Biz. Toy Biz bought Marvel. And then Marvel got stronger again, something got spun off, and then Marvel bought Toy Biz. So I think some of your original Marvel Legend figures may be Toy Biz. Don't hold me to that. I'm pretty sure before the license changed. But so you actually had Toy Biz owning Marvel and then being owned by Marvel, both ends of the spectrum. So that's kind of some interesting history for you there. Thanks, Tim.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I would add to that is I gotta go.
All right.
Oh, I have so much more to educate you on.
I am educated. What were we talking about? I actually was thinking about something else.
Brent, tell us, give us a factoid, favorite toy, quick before you go.
Well, I told you guys a few weeks ago that G.I. Joe was how I got into comics.
Yeah.
And I will say, I was talking with Roland a few weeks ago. I think the reason was because I actually saw toys that weren't toys, they were characters. And because of that, I started loving the stories that I read in the comics. So much so, that's probably what got me to be a true comic fan more than anything else.
A true
was the
believer.
toys. So I credit them or I blame them depending on the status of comics.
Yeah.
Whatever. So.
All right, you heard it, folks. G.I. Joe changed Brent Larson's life.
That's right. And now I am a lot poorer for it monetarily. But that's okay.
If you had half the money you spent.
It's kind of a theme. It's a theme we all have with the toys and the comics. All right, Brent, thank you for joining us. Get some sleep.
Have a good one.
Is that?
Bye, Brent.
Bye.
He's gone.
All right.
And he's gone.
All right. So
I mean, am I right? Jeez.
Is it now? And then there were 5?
yeah, 6. And with that, normally we do a review at this point in time, but we do not have one this week. So we'll do the transition on screen. We will show you how the sausage is made. So Sid, if you want to unshare your screen, and see Michael, do you want to share your screen?
There you go.
Thank you.
And this is usually where we come back, and I say,
And
"Welcome
we're back. Hey,
welcome back. Hey.
Thank you for watching and joining us. We are talking about comic books. If you are just joining us, if this was like a radio show, I'd be routinely reminding people what we're talking about. We're talking about comics that inspired toys and toys that inspired comics and how there's crossovers and how they all work together. And Brent just let us know that G.I. Joe action figures got him into comic books, and John let us know he didn't kiss a girl till he was 19.
And he paid $20.
And I liked it.
I'm sorry. I wasn't laughing at that. I was laughing at that you revealed that.
Very intimate.
We love you, John. But his vast knowledge. He has a vast knowledge of toys, and which is so awesome because when you love something and you learn about it, it's so great. We love your excitement.
So if you want background information on G.I. Joe after you get to do your reintroduction, I've got that all for you too. So just let me know.
PowerPoint?
Well, all right. John, we might have to have a part 2 for John. Before we go into that, let's I'm gonna reach out to Rory and see Michael and Tommy. What do you got? Anything to chime in? Because you guys are
Yes, mine's super short. I got 2. I got actually when I was growing up, I was the youngest, so I didn't get any of the cool toys. I got the hand-me-downs, and a lot of them skipped me, went right to my nephew. But I did have the original Matchbox Batmobile, and then the Batmobile from when Keaton was Batman.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So that was like last year.
Right.
Yeah.
But interesting fact, since we're talking about Batman and the Joker and Scott and I being in the Coast Guard, my grandfather or my grandfather's brother was in the Navy in World War II and served on board a ship with Cesar Romero, who was also in the Coast Guard.
That's cool. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of famous coasties out there.
Great connection there. And everybody knows, everybody knows Popeye was a coastie first, right?
That's right.
Look it up.
Yep.
Look it up. So thank you, Rory. Yes. Matchbox and being the last child, I was the last child as well. So my story is being the last child. My older brother's 4 years older than I am. And when we'd go visit my grandmother, he had a buddy that lived across the street, and I was the little tag-along brother. But we went over, and that buddy had, and this is going to, John, you might want to like earmuffs like under your ear. He had lots of Kenner toys, and this was early 80s. I was 4, 5 years old, and we took hammers to their heads, and we
used to do the fireworks things, and my brother and I used to blow them up. And
I think
man, you guys are like Sid from Toy Story.
Yeah.
So basically, Scott, you invented Hammer Time way before MC Hammer.
And we made them. I remember they were zombies because we'd make them walk around with their arms out.
Oh, gee, I was like that.
It didn't make sense because they didn't have heads, but yeah. So looking back, it's like when you sell that car that ends up being a priceless classic or whatever, but we smashed probably original Star Wars Kenner toys. Yeah, and I did get a lot of hand-me-down toys, a lot of leftover GI. Well, and by the 80s and 90s, they were the smaller GI Joes, no thumbs.
1982.
The elastic or that rubber band that held their legs in was broken, so the
O-ring. It's called an O-ring.
Thank you. So because you always had to, because they'd hold the gun and the gun would face that way. So
so they're always
yep, you turn the gun and their thumb would break off. So they could hold it like that. All right, that's my input. I'll shut up again. Tommy, go ahead. What do you?
All right. Well, I'm kind of like Palpatine there. I mean, John. I had a lot of the Star Wars toys when I was little. The first run, the New Hope stuff. So I had you remember the Death Star playset and all the ships, and unlike a lot of people that said that your parents threw them away. I don't know what happened to all my toys. I still have a lot of them in there. And I went downstairs. The way my house is set up, there's the garage is underneath the house. It's kind of weird. Well, let's not get into that weirdness. But I went down a little while ago to try to find to bring up some of the stuff, and it's just all packed up. And so I've still got an original the Imperial shuttle. You remember the big thing, the big.
Yep, shuttle Tiberium.
Yeah, shoot, that sucker is so huge. It's huge. It's a monster.
Yeah.
And I saw it, but it was piled up under stuff, and I'm like, I can't get it out. And I've got a Slave One that's I sent away for the Boba Fett. You remember you had to get the Boba Fett. Now I didn't.
When
get
they
the
said
Boba
it was
Fett.
going to be rocket launching.
Yeah, it wasn't. But
I got the story on that one too later.
But I got one of those Boba Fetts, and he's in it, but it's in a box, and I couldn't get it out. And all the pop figures. I bet between my wife and I, we collect that stuff. We probably got over 100 pop figures. And when you were showing stuff, I'm like, if I just got up, I could go in the other room and just all this stuff. We get too many toys. I don't know. I haven't grown up. But what I wanted to talk about was some of the comics or some of the toys that I have that were based off of comics that I worked on, which is kind of neat. So it's a different kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
Different way. So, all right. So when I was doing all the inking and stuff for Ultraverse, at the time that I was doing, okay, here I have them hidden. I'm gonna pop them up in the screen there. See, here he comes. Here he comes.
Cool.
You know this guy?
Nightman.
Yeah. So I mean, he wasn't based off anything that I designed or anything, but I mean, he came out when I was inking Nightman. So you remember when the Ultraverse had all the figures and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so there's Nightman. Isn't that kind of cool? I've kept
so
him.
Cool.
Yeah, so I got Nightman. I've got a box of stuff over here. Also with all the inking and stuff I did a ton of inking, helping an inker that's done a lot of stuff. Jimmy Palmiotti, y'all may have heard of him or not, when he was with Joe Quesada. Remember when they had their own comic line, the Event Comics?
Ash?
Dun, 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 dun.
It's Ash!
So I got a figure of something else that I helped ink a lot of that stuff. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, let's see what else
and
I
Tommy,
got.
do you remember what was his real job?
He was a fireman.
Yes, he was.
That's right. Let me go through my little box here. What else do I got over here? Now, I didn't ink any of this, but one of my other cool, I'll say it's just a box of comics, a box of toys here. Okay, here's one. Dun, dun, dun. Boom! This is the big monster one. You see how tall this guy is? Isn't he?
Oh my God, the tick!
The tick!
The tick,
What's
yeah.
up with the tick?
Spoon! Spoon.
It's beautiful.
Okay, let's see what else. Some of the stuff that I grabbed from this box over here. Okay, and also with my my partner in crime with Kablam Digital Printing, Barry Gregory, longtime friend, was doing John Amon, Amazing Man. Here's a figure. Now Barry actually had this figure produced on his own, so this is a figure that I didn't have much to do with it. Barry paid for it, but can you see him in the picture there?
Yeah.
There's John Amon, Amazing Man on a card. This is a custom card. This is a custom figure that he had made. This is pretty neat.
Hey, Tommy,
yes, sir.
before you put him down, can you see me?
Oh, you got one? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Word
So
look at these two
in my
nerds.
collection that it was that accessible because he is on display.
And you can get these at indieplanet.com if you want
Everybody,
to go get
that's
some.
indieplanet.com.
Indieplanet. You can get all the Amazing Man stuff. The
And
figures
this
are
is such a
available
great
there.
figure. I love how you guys designed the plastic on it. So
Yeah.
you could actually take the figure out, put it back in without the packaging being destroyed.
Exactly.
You have
we
amazing
designed
artwork
it
by
too.
Stephen Butler on the back as well.
Sure is. Well, Stephen drew it, and you know, and I helped ink some of it. I inked the sixth
We're gonna
issue.
leave you two alone, okay? Tell us.
All right, the rest of you guys mute. Quit talking, y'all. But yeah, no,
can't make
actually,
me.
the cool thing about this particular blister pack thing is that it's the size of a comic book. So some of the ones that we actually put comics inside this thing, you see, it's about the size of a comic. We planned that. We're smart. So, all right, let's see what else I got in this thing over here.
Now, Scott, you would probably know best. Was Rocketeer a comic first?
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
It was.
Came out from Pacific Comics, done by Dave Stevens. It wasn't until the 90s that Disney put out the movie. I knew a guy that was working
yeah, I
on some of
remember
the
the
concept
movie.
art.
Yeah, classic.
so
Never
yeah.
gets old. I would like
Definitely
one of those. I want the
comic.
helmet.
oh yeah.
I love the helmet. I had no idea it was comic.
I want them to bring that back and do it justice.
Venom.
Yes.
Loved that movie. Loved it.
It was great. It stands the test of time, but they could try and remake it. I'm afraid they would take some liberties with it.
If it doesn't have Jennifer Connelly, it's not worth it.
Exactly.
I got
I
one
need
more
her
big
back.
thing I want to show you real quick, but I gotta hide it. Okay, so here y'all look at this for a second.
Zomboy.
All right, this is Zomboy, a book that I've done. All right.
Definitely
Hold
not
on,
a Tommy
I got-
Flormonti insert.
That's right. I've got to set this up so you can't see. Hold on, let me
So,
try to do this.
Tommy,
So don't
would
be
that also
peeking.
be Zomboy available at indieplanet.com?
That's it. It's your. Oh, you ready? You
Yep.
ready? Here we go. Dun dun dun.
Oh, wow.
Big monster Zomboy toy. Look at this guy. Look at this. Is that badass or
Cute.
what?
That's great.
Oh, that is so amazing. Who made that for you, Tommy?
It's a buddy of mine.
So cool.
Look how big he is. He's
That's
big.
insane.
Isn't that cool? I'm gonna put
One
it right
of
here.
a kind. That is amazing.
Does he watch movies with you? You sit on the couch with you at night, and
He stays in the closet.
you can sit in the car. You can drive in the
Oh, no.
Oh no!
You can drive in the HOV lanes with that, Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy,
have
that could be
this,
your version of Ted, the little stuffed animal teddy bear.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I pulled these out because this is pretty cool. I got something else cool to show y'all real quick. Look at this big.
Oh.
Look at what talk about.
Lord.
Boy,
Whoa.
look at this. Can y'all see this?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
That's who is that? I can't tell which one is this.
Not Gene.
No, the Paul Stanley. Look at that. Look how big monster this toy is. This is huge. This is my wife's toy. This is not mine. I wouldn't.
Sure.
That. I wouldn't get that at all. But my favoriteest of all the toys is, do you guys remember, and this is not so much a comic book thing, but do you remember the Kenner? I have it's in this box. Okay, let me show you, see if I can show you. Remember the Kenner? We talked a little bit about wrestling several times.
Yep.
Remember when Kenner had wrestling action figures?
You mean like the John Cena I have in my room? Or not the John Cena, but
Look at
Ultimate
all
Warrior.
these guys.
John Cena's in your room.
I have John Cena, Ultimate Warrior, and a
Look at
rock up in my room.
Look at them all.
Tommy, was that like when Kenner was doing the starting lineups for the baseball? And was there like a wrestling line?
What?
Yeah, no, these are
What's the
these were,
time period? When?
shoot, when were these? The 80s, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
you should have like an
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior and Andre.
No, there's I've got like hundreds of them.
Yeah.
I don't know how we collect them. My buddy and I started like this guy. We was a poor Roddy Piper. We were making our own figures. We were making the figures. You could pop them apart and change the bodies out, and you could here's what's his face the guy. What's that guy? Here's Earthquake, right?
Yeah.
Here's
Macho Man.
Here's Doink the Clown.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, look at all these guys. Here's one of the Warriors.
Yep.
Oh, look at
You can do it.
I forgot his name. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Kool-Aid Man? Oh, sorry. Made me think of Kool-Aid. I'm thirsty.
And for some reason, I got a Robin stuck in the box. I don't know what the
Which Robin is that?
I don't know what he's doing in here. He's probably getting beat up.
Is that the one with the flat top hair?
Yes.
Okay, so that's from the Batman Returns line when they also made penguin, like little penguins, not like penguin, like little penguins. Yep. That one's a cool Robin. I dug that one.
Yeah, I'm about done with my run of stuff. Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake. Okay, I'm done.
All right.
Tommy, that's awesome. Thank you.
Good show and tell.
Thanks for sharing.
No, I've got
Very
a
cool.
garage full. You guys, you don't know how much of all this stuff I've got. What we would do back in when we had a studio in Mississippi, like I said, I'm in Florida now. On the walls, we would just buy figures all the time, and we would just line them up on the walls. We would have, I've got boxes and boxes and boxes. We would get cold collections of stuff. Renee, my wife, she's like, "You're gonna sell some of that stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sometime." They're just down there. They're in a box, and then we still get more stuff.
The longer you keep them, the more expensive they are. So
Yeah.
it's an investment.
Yes.
I guess. But lots of them are still in the, they're pristine and in the boxes. 80s figures. Yeah. Crazy.
And you still got them, Tommy?
Yes.
What was your address again? Just asking for a friend.
When are you at work?
Where do you keep the keys in the mat?
That's right. My wife works from home now, so you guys can't come out.
That is such a nice collection.
Oh my goodness! And all those pop figures,
so cool.
Tons of pop figures from the Harry Potter pops, the Star Wars pops, the all the Marvel, DC, crazy.
Yeah.
The Big Bang Theory pops.
There's only
My wife
one
has
pop
all
collection I'd
those.
love to have.
We got a bunch of Muppet pops that we like to get. Oh, the Haunted Mansion pops. Have you seen
Wow.
those? The new ones?
Yes.
They
The big ones?
look
Oh, wow.
so good.
Like Disney
Well,
Haunted
even the small
Mansion?
ones. Yeah, the Disney Haunted Mansion.
Oh,
ones. Yeah.
wow. That'd be cool.
I got a Madame Leota somebody gave to me the other day. It's in the other room. I could go show it to you. But that's a secret. That's mine.
Can you make custom pops yet? Or because I know you can make custom bobbleheads.
Well, they did come out with some blanks that you could do. So you can get blanks. Yeah.
Scott, Christmas.
Where's my oversized pencil? Yep. Let me write that down for you.
We can make a rolling bobblehead and take them to cons and sit them on the table.
Based on the actual Roland Mann or the comic book incarnation of Roland Mann, his profile picture. Which one do we go with?
Whichever can afford the biggest goatee.
The cartoony.
Whichever one doesn't get us all fired.
Yes.
Tommy, you're talking about your collection. My collection cannot match the grandiosity of yours, but so in the 80s it was Ninja Turtles for me, and I had
I
had over 40 that I bought with my own money, and I would ride my bicycle, and so I lived I don't know if this is a southern thing, but I grew up in West Virginia, and we had a big wheel. Did anybody have big wheels?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow,
Wheels.
I was too big for a big wheel. I've been 6'6" since I was 5
No,
years old.
not the big wheel that you ride. We had big wheel.
Oh no.
I don't know if that was anyways. I would ride my bicycle, my BMX, and I would go and buy an action figure like every week if I could, and I had over 40. I don't remember, but then when I got into my teens and I wasn't playing with him, my neighbor, he was little, and I let him have all of them. And I just recently, within the past year, they were cleaning out boxes from their house, and they had all my old.
Oh, they had your stuff.
But
Wow.
I mean, most of when the shells open, like a lot of their shells are broken off.
Yeah.
None of the weapons. All their heads and arms and elbows are scuffed, and they don't have their belts, and they don't. It's so.
But they all had Scott written on their feet.
Yeah,
so that way.
That's what I was thinking. We're used, right?
So that you knew who they belonged to. They were
Kind of
just
like
coming home.
Andy.
Yeah, that's right. They were
Andy, did you
going
get your
home.
toys back?
My Turtles toys, yeah, and I remember just wanting Turtlebot so bad.
So Turtles was your thing.
Yeah.
Star Wars was
I
mine.
love the Turtles.
What
too.
was his name? Metalhead.
Metalhead, yeah.
Yep, I had one of those
Shredder.
in my last office too. Like the new version, not the old ones. But he was a great looking figure.
Yeah, he had that chrome metallic paint on him, and the Casey Jones, and I had the original. The originals had kind of like a mild expression. They were moderately displeased, at the. And then they got like the second generation of them when their shells opened. They were even angrier. But the originals with the belt, the rubber belt, and Leo's swords would go in, or the bow staff.
Dope.
Those are all pretty much gone out of my life now. Oh well. Those are my toys.
You've got the memories.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll always have the memories.
You should try to
And
re-get
that pain of like.
So we haven't heard from you. See, Michael, you got any input, any thoughts on toys? What?
Well, I was a Ninja Turtle fan, big time in the '80s. But another thing was He-Man.
Oh yeah.
Which is actually kind of does connect to comic books, considering that it's based on
the cartoon
Rossetti's Conan.
It has to do with nerd stuff. So
yeah. Well, there used to be a comic. Used to be a comic book that came with it too. So they kind of that's how they kind of marketed it. So a lot of it was based on the the Frazzetti run of, is it Frazzetti? Am I saying that right?
Frazetta.
Okay, Frazetta.
Yeah.
Is that an Italian dish that Olive Garden?
Unlimited Frazetta at Olive Garden. Yes.
Winner here, family.
Can I get a side order of that with my breadsticks?
But that was my big thing when I was a kid. Just kind of, I had all the villains and I had the Gray Skull. I even had the Skeletor Snake Mountain, and you had the snake, and it was a glove.
Yep.
It was like a rubber glove. It could have washed dishes with it. That's kind of.
Oh, wow.
But that was the kind of that, and of course I was a Ninja Turtle fan. My mother used to work at Kmart. I don't know if y'all remember those.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
And so the day that the Ninja Turtles came out, it was the 4 Turtles, Splinter, and Shredder.
Yep.
The day those came out, she actually got all those for me. So,
wow.
So that was kind of that was awesome at that time. So from that started a whole bunch of, you had your Mutation Turtles and your Turtle Van and the pizza shooting one.
The van was the coolest thing ever. I loved that van.
The van. Remind me what that looked like. Did it look like the Scooby van? Wasn't it the same color scheme?
It was a boxy looking. I don't know what it was based off. Like
like an Astro.
Chevy, an Astro van, maybe.
The
greatest of all vans. But yeah, I don't know. It wasn't like a VW. It was.
it's kind of nondescript band, but
rectangle.
Yeah, Scott. Professor the Dude, also know Tom Lucas, I believe, from Full Sail. Yes. So while on Facebook, there was a post that just ended up running along as they do in the comment section, and the joke ended up becoming that if you were to get the Ninja Turtles van with the pizza launcher and get a frozen tombstone pizza, you'd have the most lethal weapon on Earth, because you'd just be cutting heads off left and right.
Now it all makes sense.
I never understood that. Why would the Turtles launch pizzas? They want to eat them. That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe they were just throwing away the veggie vegan one. They're like, we want that for animal flesh.
Oh, the Hawaiian pizza, the one with the
pineapples.
The pineapple pizza, yeah.
Friends do not let friends put pineapple on pizza.
Oh, pineapple's great.
Agreed.
Ham Hawaiian pizza is delicious.
It's so good.
If I have any other choice, I think I can eat it. But honestly,
if there was no
I'm just
pepperoni
cheese and
around.
cheese, and they're like, "Hey, you want pineapple in it? It's whatever. It's just bread and food in it. I like it."
Yeah, it's food. Yeah, yeah.
I don't mind it. I've discovered a lot of stuff while living over there in the States. Because here you have pepperoni and cheese, you know, and then I get to the States and people putting eggs and bacon and broccoli in the pizzas. So what do you doing?
Barbecue.
Yeah. So seeing somebody putting pineapple was like, you know what? It's fine. I've seen a lot of weird stuff here in the States. It's okay.
Yeah.
I've seen people putting s'mores on there.
Ooh,
s'mores
pizza. That's like a
come
dessert
on,
pizza. That's something different.
How is it? We do get on food every Wednesday, don't we? Because I'm always hungry. We have
Right. I mean, I haven't had dinner yet, so this is gonna be a yeah.
One of these days, I'll have to show you guys the cupcakes I made for my son's Cub Scout cake bake thing. We didn't have time to make like a cake and decorate it, so I'm like, we're gonna do this easy. I made a whole tray of cupcakes and just green frosting, and then I got like the tube where you're able to do strips of color.
All right.
I was like, red strip, red strip, red strip, red strip. Next line. Orange, 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 purple, 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 blue. You know, I was like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cupcakes. There you go. And they were the bomb.
So
I got photos. I'll show you sometime.
So
my mom used to do that. She used to pick have the cake for like the person me, and she would have little cupcakes or muffins for everybody with a candle. So every kid would have the chance to blow a candle. That was the best.
Oh, that's so cool.
So
Yeah.
speaking of that and something that would dominate the after school arcades, I believe TMNT did have a line of this particular product as a food product. You guys remember colored ketchup? As for whatever reason they got marketed.
I remember the purple especially.
Purple and
Yes.
green, terrible.
Is yeah, for whatever reason, it's like they had that at the arcade, therefore I wanted it on my hot dog.
Yeah. You said arcade? Did you say
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
Yeah. I remember the first time I spent $5 at an arcade. I couldn't believe I spent $5. It was on the Ninja Turtles game. I could not. I
could just see you getting so angry.
Yes.
I will beat it.
So they I'll let you continue your story, but I got a follow up for that.
You put the $5 bill in the coin machine. It's like a never-ending stream.
It's like Vegas for 10-year-olds.
Yes.
You are not a Ninja Turtle fan unless you beat that arcade game.
So they put out a new Ninja Turtles arcade game once Nickelodeon got the rights, and then they licensed a new arcade game. They have the one at our local barcade. So and just as well, me and a group of people did the full 4-player lineup. Yep. I think altogether spent close to $20 just camping that cabinet for like a half hour.
Yeah, yep. The other game, sorry, I'm going off of toys here, going off arcade games, is the 6-person X-Men game.
Yes.
Oh, that was a cool
never
game.
played
Yes.
They had one. For me, there wasn't one. There was one locally for quite a while, and then that disappeared, and I didn't have any. But where I'd go for my family reunion once a year, it was there was this pool. It's a big pool, like a water slide area, and they had an arcade with the skee ball and all that sort of stuff. And they had the 6-person machine, and my cousins, 2 cousins, and I, and my brother, 4 of us, we played. And I was always Colossus, but he couldn't walk to the left. So I mean, I'd be good going to the right. And the screen
Broken machine, broken arcade stick.
Broke machine. That's right.
Could not go back. So I'd have to fight.
It's gonna make a hard decision there to advance or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the screen would go. You know, so the screen would push. You know, you'd get pushed by. But you could never.
I remember that. Okay, gotcha.
I love, and I've never played that game all the way through. I always ran out of money, so I played the first couple levels. You know, where you
right.
fight the blob and you fight Wendigo and what does Magneto say? He says, "Welcome to die."
Yes. Because
I belong to us.
Because I believe that was that was one of those ones that was made in Japan before they got really good money for localizing. So like they only got direct translations.
Someone set us up the bomb. Main screen turn on.
Yeah.
How are you, gentlemen? Ha ha ha. Oh my god, I don't know if oh my god, I could show you this. Okay, so at work, right, because I work at a school, and please tell me nobody from my school is watching this. We have COVID tables, is what I call them. So
Yes.
basically, it's a welcome
COVID
table
tables.
where we're making sure that the students come in, check their temperature, and answer a series of questions, that they don't have fevers. Because we're trying to keep everybody safe. And that
Yeah.
part
You're
I'm not
doing your
joking
thing.
about. But so instead of just my school ID, I made my own ID, and actually I can't see myself. I don't know. So I made a Resident Evil ID, and I used the Star Wars font up here, and I used the Biohazard one there, and then actually because I was using the Star Wars font, one of this, I think, this one does say all your base are belong to us. That is what the wording down here says. I made this last week on my own time and my own resources at home.
Yeah, right.
As long as
and
what they
so
know, anyway.
I'm doing table duty, and I have my real ID and my college president, who is amazing. She really is. Maybe not just because she's watching, but no, she was awesome. She's like, "Oh, what's that one?" And I'm like, "Well, there's this video game popular in the '90s where there's like this worldwide pandemic because of the T-cell virus." And she's just like looking like,
"That's not funny."
But the students got it and they thought it was hilarious, and that's the most important.
Yep.
So as I'm asking them to check their temps, they were cool. They were cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
That's cool. That's
awesome. If there's any way to keep people away from you, is to flip to the biohazard side.
So hey, Tommy, and Scott, can I interrupt for a quick second?
Of course.
And Tommy, are you still watching?
Okay. Here we go.
All right.
I
So
was
here
eating.
if I could do kind of like a segue here. So just for a moment, we will pause as Silverline Wednesday Wham. The segment brought to you by IndiePlanet.com.
Oh, that is fabulous.
I like that.
Zomboy, I love it.
Did he freeze?
Bad. What's that?
Oh,
Is that copyright infringement?
No, because I'm willing to mail it to him if he wants it.
That's good.
Oh, fan art. Okay.
I like that.
That's perfect.
And we see why I don't trust Sniper and Rock. Yes.
I like that.
Oh, that's great.
We haven't even touched on Transformers.
I was going.
Let's say
that's my subject.
Oh, Harry.
Not really.
Oh, you're going to show us your figures?
It's well, I do.
Who's your favorite?
Okay, so first of all, I'm a 90s baby. So most of the toys you guys talk about, I saw them from my cousins. But for me, I was the cousin that was like, don't touch anything in my room. That was like great. I would see them from afar, so I wouldn't know how great the toys were.
Right.
And I don't remember having like many toys because as a girl they give you plushies, not action figures. So I would just shred my plushies and I would treat them like action figures, but like they were plushies. And I remember though having my cousins, we were to visit them at some point, and they had these onesies, these Power Ranger onesies, which were the big thing in the 90s. And I have a picture of myself wearing the Green Ranger onesie, and I was just thrilled. One of my favorite baby pictures because I'm the freaking Green Ranger.
Yeah.
It's just the best thing ever. And I always remember having the dagger with me and everything. That wasn't possible. It was when I was in my middle teens when I started getting money for myself to get myself toys and figures. And it was when I had the chance to study abroad in Ireland when I saw an actual comic book store with collectibles. Because here in Chile, see that's too expensive, it's too rare, it's not kind of hard to find that merchandise. But there I saw the whole store full of figures, and that was like the first time I was seeing that. And the Transformers Generations line was coming out. I didn't hesitate to spend like $80 just on figures for Transformers. I love Transformers. My first Transformers figure was Cheat Whore from the Beast Wars line.
Oh, Beast Wars,
my personal favorite one. It's how I met Transformers. So having them having all that was just the best. Not to mention that the Generation toys are really nice, very smooth, very like very, how you call it? The joints are just very nice. You can put them on almost any pose, and they sport very fine. And now that I am getting my own money, finally, I am spending a lot of money on the masterpieces, which lately have been doing really nice, especially with the Beast Wars, because for 20 years, it was like a guilty pleasure. You wouldn't dare to say that you like Beast Wars because it was like the worst thing ever made. But now, slowly, they're coming back to it, and a lot of people are saying like, I gotta admit, I like them, but I'm never there. And like, slowly people's coming up saying like, I actually like them too. Yeah. So now they're coming out with figures, and it's just like a paradise for me. I have nothing to complain about. But yeah, Transformers is one of the big things I collect. Other things are more like I have the non-transformable stuff though, because I like more like the transforming the characters are just like in the poses of it, like these guys here. Because they're really nice. They look just like the character. Yeah. They don't transform, but you can put any pose you want with it, so that's nice. So that's why
more than meets the eye.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love my robots. I have them all over my wall. But more than having just a lot of characters, because I don't have much money, and also I'm lazy. I'm too lazy to take care of them, so I'm like super picky with the figures I have. I mostly have the rare stuff. I mostly have like their hard to find Transformers figures. Here I have my little. This guy is is from the Japanese toy lines. That is this raccoon guy that has this watch, and you can see it actually works, and it has an alarm set and everything. And he transforms into the character. It's one of the most entertaining figures I've ever had because it's more than just the figures, more than just the toy. So I think it's like the rare thing I have. And the rarest I could say, I don't have it here, but it's my Soundwave, my original 1984 Soundwave that I have in the box. And yeah, once it's like 2 or 3 times a year, I take it out, I transform it, I look at it, I say it's beautiful, and then I put it back again in the box because it's, of course, too old. But yeah, that's most of my collection is not about the toys, it's just finding weird stuff, like rare stuff. I'm not really haunted, but if I find some little figure that I know it's not so common, I'm like, yeah. I can do that. And the other one is Hopper, but I try to find as much of him as possible. The most horrible Transformers ever, but I love them. This guy here. I don't know if you guys remember him.
Which one is he?
In the G1 series, he's like a very grumpy guy who literally has nothing positive to say.
Oh,
His
yeah.
designs and colors are the worst. And I was watching, when I got my first computer, I was watching it, and I just remember seeing this guy and has nothing good to say, and I hated his color, I hated his face. I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? I hate it. But every time he would appear, I would get upset to the point that I was like, I wonder if he's going to appear in this episode because I really hate him. To the point that started to grow into, I really like this guy. Now I have almost every figure of him because I really like him. I'm obsessed with this bastard. He's just so. And also, he's the only one who can pick up Optimus trailer, which I think is unique. So, yeah, but yeah, that's mostly what I've had. Transformers is just something I always loved in my life, and now I can finally start collecting to it, which is just really fascinating. I don't have this. I see these pictures of
nerd.
I don't know if you see these pictures of Transformers collectors, and they just have walls of it, and I'm like, I can't do that. I just imagine all the dust around them. And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. But I mostly have art because I'm an artist, so I collect art for people.
Yeah.
Toys.
Yeah.
The lamest Transformer that I ever thought was what the guys that transform. They're like pterodactyls or whatever, and then they turned into a cassette.
No. Hey.
Wow,
no.
you really said that.
Look at what I changed my name to when Sid started talking Transformers. I am going to kick your booty next time I see you at a show.
They couldn't do anything
without Soundwave.
Soundwave superior. That's what it said.
Soundwave superior is I will be right back. These are fighting words. Hold on.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something.
He's going to walk into Scott's screen.
Pokemon master. He's the only one who can carry.
He's right next door. He's going to go in there and punch him in the face.
Because I know you did not just bash these guys. That is here in the dining room. Okay? And watch, okay, no magic stuff here. I know you did not bash the backup box I have in case anything happens to these guys. I have these mint box. You did.
Just for you to know, my birthday is on October 3rd. I give you my
October 3rd.
I need those cassettes. I need them.
I will see what I can do for you. October 3rd. All right.
I love you.
Yeah, Soundwave's my favorite. And then Sid, I don't know if you know much about like the G1 re-releases. Walmart recently put out the original Soundwave again last year. Looks great. Came with one tape. They had a couple other tapes that came out. They just came out with Blaster, the Autobot boombox.
Oh, I saw the Blaster. Yeah, I couldn't buy it.
He just came out like last week. Oh, so Tim's leaving now. Tim's got some cool stuff too. And Rory left, so he's probably getting stuff too. Or y'all are coming here to beat me up because I just threatened Scott.
They're going into your room because they all, because really, the internet people, we all live together in one house.
Oh my God, we should so do a Big Brother thing. That would be awesome.
Do some drinking game. We can go ahead midnight and just do some drinking game concerning comics. Just...
I will be back in a second. The cool thing is for everybody else to walk away. I'll be right back.
Okay.
We should all leave. I'm going.
That makes for a great show if we all get up and walk away. We gotta start wrapping up here soon. I can't wrap up without Tim TK there, so I'm just gonna keep filling airtime with the sound of my baritone voice.
Dulcimer tones. Actually, it just hit me that I do have other figures that I just don't even think about. One not being from a comic. I'm sure it's a comic now, but Destiny 2, if Tim was here, he'd back me up. I'd gotten this little guy from a friend when D2 came out.
All right.
And then also, if Tim was here, Critical Role, that D&D show that goes on live.
Oh,
on
nice.
Twitch. Their original set of characters and their new set of characters.
Wow.
And that's about it, other than other D&D minis.
Yeah.
All right, I'm taking my laptop to my
Nope,
garage
Tim's
where
back
all
on
my
the
figures
overhead.
are. I'm gonna go show you where all my figures, my toys are, and we can just show you all the toys.
Show off.
Oh, Tim, you missed the good stuff.
I don't know.
In the 80s and 90s, pre Marvel movies, and my obsession with Iron Man, I would always dig through all the toys, everything, to look for Iron Man stuff. I could never. It wasn't really until the movies came out
That he really popped off.
What's that?
So it wasn't really until movies they popped off. Until then, he was still kind of B tier.
Yeah. I loved him, and I would look for everything that I could find. And I've got I should have brought it, but I don't know where it is. My son got most of my toys and played with them, and so I've got a big Ultimates.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
It's not anything original, but he's the first suit, the gray 1963 suit, a few other little action figures. But yeah, I would always dig through to all the toys to try to find Iron Man stuff. And I mean, now it's out. And I thought it was really cool.
To you?
What's that?
No, it's just I'm also really like Iron Man. And I remember as a kid, I always wanted to have at least the gauntlet to shoot the ray stuff, and I was dreaming to have it. And now that the toys came out, and I saw the gauntlet, it was like, it's my chance. But it didn't feel like what I was hoping for. It was like, I don't know if because I'm an adult now.
Yeah.
It feels like could have more though.
Yeah, I obsessed with it. I drew Iron Man. I read everything. I was obsessed
awesome.
with it. But the Iron Man toys and so it's Speed Racer stuff too. They re-released all that in the late '90s. I got a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Really cool Mach 5. It had the camera that came up, the trunk open, had the little surveillance bird thing, and all the action figures.
Chip.
Yep. Yeah, it did. It had Chim Chim, Spritle. It had everybody. Yeah, but my son got most of my toys, and so they did not last. Oh, that's what I was going to say. When Hasbro re-released, they made all the Marvel characters the same size as G.I. Joe. What size is that? I'm sorry, guys. What's the
3.75 inch?
Thank you. They made all the Marvel characters the same size as G.I. Joe. I thought that was really cool because this was early 2000s.
They could play together now.
Yep.
Yeah, they could. Well, because
because otherwise there were big ones looking at the little guys.
Right. Did anybody else did their G.I. Joes like marry Barbie? Like did they ever they had to live together? Barbie was, and then you had Yeah. So
Come on, Barbie. Let's go, Barbie.
I will say that my lost toy collection was Hero Clicks.
Hero, yes.
Which I don't understand how the licensing for any of that worked, because essentially one company's like, I'm just going to buy the rights to Marvel, DC, G.I. Joe, and 50 other things, and make
They
one
had,
rule set.
like Hellboy stuff.
Yeah.
They had Danger Girl. That was such an awesome eclectic collection.
Yeah, and a callback to Ultraverse. This is a story I'm going to steal from Roland, but I guess about 10 years ago, HeroClix released a Rune character, and everyone thought that Marvel was going to resurrect Ultraverse after and they didn't. It was just someone in marketing was like, "Hey, there's a bunch of kids from like remember this one line. We could get some cash from them."
Hey,
folks,
Tim.
Yes.
Scott.
We got to start wrapping up here.
Okay,
soon. This is
well,
the longest show we've
I got something for Sid first.
I-
I got something for Sid first.
Do it.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna show this on my phone. I just ran to my.
1 second, we're losing a lot of frames. Got it.
Tim, I put it in. You're losing me on frames.
We're losing the stream on frames. Something's sucking up my internet.
It's Cybertron.
Cybertron, something. Huh. Let me see how the broadcast is looking. If anyone's watching this live, how's the broadcast looking?
Let me pull it up on my phone.
Oh yeah, frozen on YouTube.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Facebook is still moving.
Yeah, it looks good on Facebook.
Keep smiling, guys. We're still online.
Everybody just go. Maybe if we
we're super choppy, but audio's still going though. Okay. Yeah, might just have to restart that real quick. So you're gonna restart the stream.
It's fine. The best stuff always takes time. I'm breathing.
You know, if I had any musical inclination, I'd be doing like the whole drum roll for like the last 4 minutes at this point. And you guys would be all like, "Shut up!" More so than you've already been with me tonight, going, "Oh my God, John, shut up."
Are you still wearing a tie, John?
Yeah, I'm still wearing them.
You look good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Not bad for a guy with a migraine, huh?
Yeah, you're doing great, guy.
Yeah, I'm surprised you've done
a vomiting migraine. Yeah.
Seriously,
Jeez.
the white acid with just soda today, not good.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'll do it.
Oh no.
I think we'll plan ahead. We'll all dress up for a show. We'll do it.
Oh yeah.
Let's do
I just
that.
got a note from
I
Facebook
like that.
saying that we're live now.
Good.
Ooh.
Everybody hold still and freak them out.
Right.
Hey, jerk. Go like this.
Don't talk.
Okay.
Well, let's just start over at the beginning.
There you go.
Okay. Welcome to Wednesday Silverline Wham. I'm your host. We may or may not be experiencing technical difficulties. So if you're still watching, we love you very much. Thank you. You are a dedicated fan. We are going to wrap up soon. We do have some parting thoughts. I'm gonna talk and pretend and assume that people are watching us and that we are broadcasting. And we've been talking about comic book toys and toys that turned into comic books, and our favorite toys and the toys we have on our shelves, and the toys we've smashed the heads off and lit on fire, and the toys we've
That's
thrown
always
away.
been fun.
Hey, yeah, okay, me. The toys.
I was like, I did that.
The toys we've given to children. The toys we didn't know were going to be our retirement, and the toys that have shaped us. And
How about the toys that were returned to you? Didn't you get them back? You said.
I did. They were not in good shape. Yes, they went away and they came back. They were probably worthless now.
You gave them a Viking scent. Like
Hopefully that
Viking,
stabilizes.
funeral.
Yeah,
Facebook.
Viking funeral, I love it.
I would have done that.
So if anybody needs like arms from Ninja Turtles, let me know.
Save it for eBay.
Legs, the shells that open.
People buy that stuff so they can fix figures that are busted up and stuff.
You know what I
true.
did? And I forgot. I have a good batch of the original G.I. Joe. I've got like the harpoon, the metal boots, the diving gear.
Go sell them on eBay. Sell them in lots. That
Do
kind
you
of
have Cutter?
I do. No.
No, he's talking like the originals, not the 80s.
Oh, because Cutter came later because all the coaches complained there was no Coast Guard in there.
No, the original, the big guys. And I have the Jeep with the cannon on the trailer. So that'll keep an eye out on eBay because that will probably end up there. Are we live? We good?
Well, we're live. It's just I don't know, something killed my bit rate, so it's gonna be a little choppy.
All right. Well, John, you got some parting thoughts, and then we'll wrap up.
So
do the usual closing, and we'll say goodnight.
So I took this photo for Sid. I did send it into our. You saw it?
Oh yes.
Oh, did you really? On the stream? Oh,
I answered. I said it's gorgeous.
Oh, I didn't hear. I'm sorry. It was choppy. So anybody that didn't, okay, if you didn't see it yet, this is my front room with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4 iterations of Soundwave. An iteration, actually 2 Sound Blasters, 3 Sound Waves. Sound Blaster was after Sound Wave and Blaster got into a fight. They both got blown up. Then they scooped up the parts and rebuilt Sound Wave into Sound Blaster. That's when he's in black instead of blue. So yeah, that's my front room. And then I also have multiple ones in my office at work because my office looks like a giant toy store.
It's a really pretty clip jumper out there.
Thank you. So October 3rd, you say, and you were a Soundwave fan, yes?
Oh yeah, he's my favorite Decepticon, but my fan of the Bastard, this guy, the Halfer guy.
And I saw that you had Starscream as well. He's my second favorite. So it's Soundwave and Starscream.
It's a weird hate-love relationship with this guy for me. Because my favorite is Skywarp, but I never find Skywarp stuff.
Oh,
so he's like, okay, you'll do.
So he's not Mr. Right, but he's Mr. Right now. Got it.
Yeah, you know. And it's many reasons. It's like, okay, you're important for the franchise, but you're not my type of character. You have no honor. I can't stand that.
I was also going to say, speaking of giant fighting robots and comics, since manga, I will say as a comic, it is sequential arc. One of my more expensive giant fighting robot collections is my Gundam collection.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
So I have.
I also have a model kit collection full of boxes.
Attack Wing from Seed. Freedom Strike Wing there, and from the most recent Iron Blood Orphans, I have the Barbados with giant mace.
I have the
Sailor Moon?
the RH Banshee because I love.
Oh yeah, that's super cool.
They gave it for my birthday. I still haven't been able to open it, but someday I'll be able to.
All right, toy nerds. I had this toy that was missing a part, but it was this big aircraft carrier looking thing that turned into a person. Was that a Gundam toy, or was that?
That sounds like Macross Mobile Fortress.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up because I had that. It was like
maybe Omega Supreme.
That ran for a while.
From a friend. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. So,
asking for a friend.
Say
that toy's gone as well. I don't know where that toy went either. So I'm sorry. I know I'm a disappointment to all of you. And on that disappointment,
I got one more, and then I'll shut up, and then we can go.
One more.
And I have to do this because this one has a Silverline tie-in.
John, we know if you don't, you'll just.
Well, you know, if I don't, I'm gonna like hijack the stream and I'm gonna do my own show. And you guys really want to be attached to a show that I do on my own?
You're gonna break into the Sunday show and then continue.
Yes.
So I am looking forward to reading these. So long time Silverline comic friend, original art director, one of the original Silverline people, Mr. Stephen Butler, who we've talked about today, frequent collaborator of Roland Mann and many other people here, had recommended to me as we were talking stuff recently, Shogun Warriors. So as you were pulling out the Gundams, that's what made me think of that, Tim. So
yes,
Steve Butler, these are the Shogun Warrior books I promised you I would order. I got them all. They were beautiful. They were in my light. Original owner to me. So as I promised you, I would check them out. They have arrived. They are here, and I will be very much looking forward to reading them. So, thank you.
Beautiful.
I will mute myself now, so I really
no. John. Why don't you lead us off with saying goodnight, folks? That we sign off with letting you know who we are and where to find us. We'd love if you follow us, like our pages and so forth, because we are individuals that are part of Silverline. We have our own creative exploits. And the way you support an artist or a creative person is you like and share and you buy and spread the word about what we're creating. And Silverline wouldn't be here if it weren't for you and if it weren't for all these guys on the screen here with me. So, John, why don't you start us with the closing remarks?
Thanks, Scott. All right. John Medic. I changed my name. It's in the box. You can find me on Facebook under that name. Also, Beta 3 Comics. Thank you, everybody, tonight for listening to me ramble and my weird stream of consciousness.
We love you, John.
Thanks, Scott. No, I love y'all. Wednesdays are the best night in the world for me. So this is awesome.
Good. Okay, I'm going to go right above you on my screen is C. Michael Lanning.
Oh, I'm C. Michael Lanning. You can look for me on Facebook at C. Michael Lanning. I have a Twitter, which I'm probably going to get rid of. I have
So don't go there.
Don't worry about going there.
Otherwise.
It's just not panning out for me. But I am getting Instagram likes somehow. I don't know why. Post on it, but I get Instagram likes. So
awesome.
So you can look on Instagram. There you go. But yeah, that's the best place to find me.
To Rory. Rory is this way for me.
Oh. I'm just the co-creator of Steve Patriots.
You're the beautiful face behind it. You're the driving force.
You're the beard behind it, though.
Soon you could be as
but
well.
yeah, in about 7 months, I'll be the beard behind it.
All right. Let's see. Tommy, you're over there for me.
All right, it's Thomas FLORIMONT. Look, it clipped out. Look at that. It messed up. That didn't work. Yeah, you can find me everywhere. Thomas Florimonte Jr., Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that kind of craziness. And then you can also go to infernostudios.com to see all my kid hero kind of comic stuff, like the Zomboid stuff that we had showed the big old guy from earlier, and all my other stuff. And our Kickstarter is going to start in a couple of weeks. Sid and mine, and the other Thomas is the one that's penciling it. He's supposed to be on our show, but he doesn't make it for some reason. But we're he's fine. Yeah, he's I don't know. He's
scary.
I think so. We scared him off. But the pencils look great. We're going to start showing more of it on the Silverline site. You'll be able to see it along with the Cat and Mouse. So that'll be a Kickstarter in a couple of weeks.
September 15th. Okay.
Yep. Oh, and I'm co-owner of the Command Digital Printing. So we're printing all the stuff. Oh, and the last Kickstarter that and I sound like John. And the last Kickstarter that Roland and them are getting out, we finished printing today. I'm going to trim it all up tomorrow, so Roland's going to come pick it up Friday. So they'll probably be getting that's the Friar Rush and
Bloodline.
And I was like Bloodline stuff that's going to go out. Roland's going to pick it up Friday around lunch or whatever. I'm sure we'll go to Del Taco or something. But then after that, he'll take his books and go on home, and he'll start packing them.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes.
Tim TK, why don't you go?
I'm Tim TK Writer. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Oh, no, Twitter, Instagram, liker, at Tim TK Writer. TikTok, Tim doesn't TikTok. Twitch, at AgroBacon, where I'll be streaming some Destiny 2 later tonight. I'm also on the Silverline website.
Aggro with 2 G's. Took me a minute to find you.
Oh, yep, Aggro 2 G's. Aggro, like being aggravated, or the act of aggroing in an MMO, and bacon, like the delicious breakfast food.
Okay, not as an aggro culture.
No.
Oh.
Aggro like a kill hat.
Aggro like this is aggravating me.
Okay. All right. My goodness, we don't get paid overtime. Roland will not authorize that.
Oh yeah, we went long with this one.
Right?
You guys got paid?
If the Sunday show could go half this length.
Sid, our newest Wednesday member, you have been great. I hope you come back and we didn't scare you away. Just like John.
A lot of fun. Thank you guys for the invitation.
You're just you just bring the level of quality to a much higher level here. So
I want to be able to have the chance to show more than just like this grayscale I was working on. So maybe next week I'm coming next week.
Cool.
You'll be done with the book by next week. So
it's a plan.
yeah.
Jesus, I feel the pressure now.
Oh, we're all going to be done soon. It'll be so quick. So quick.
Okay. You guys can find me on Instagram because I'm working on my other social media. So currently Instagram as a Sketchy Sid altogether, and I think that will be it. Cause I'm working on my other stuff. It's not hiatus in a limbo.
All right.
That's it.
The brain trust here. Thank you all, and thank you everybody for watching. Like I keep saying, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. Go to silverlinecomics.com, put September 15th on your calendar, and be ready to pick up some new titles from Silverline's independent comics. And as always, make mine Silverline. And good night.
Good night.